Hello and welcome. My name is Angela Davis and I'm the 4M Quilter. And I've been doing a lot of scrap busting, and I've already showed you my video on the rail fence, which is a light block and a dark block. And I've already showed you what I've done here using up 2.5 inch cut squares. And then over here I'm doing some strippies. But this is all part of my plan for 2024 to work down my bin of scraps and try to get them in some semblance of order, and also try to use some of them along the way. So this video is all about the flying geese block, and I'm going to show you how I get that done. There are many ways to do flying geese units, but the easiest way for me is to start out with a rectangle. And the large rectangle is always your geese, okay? Your squares on either side are your background, all right? So with that being said, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finger press this. I don't know if we can see that real well. Let me press it with an iron real quick. Okay, so I pressed it with an iron real quick, and it's right here, and I'm just gonna sew right on that line. Okay, now you can put a pin in this or not, that's entirely up to you. If I were a straight pin, where would I be? Here we go. All right. And I'm just stitching right on that line. Okay. I started on the outside, or rather on the inside, and went to the outside. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch another line. Here we go. I'm going to stitch another line. Boy, I'm not prepared, am I? Now this is going to fold back here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to measure a 1/2 inch from that stitch, and I'm just going to draw a little line, and I'm going to sew on that line. Okay. And then I'm going to trim that off right down the middle of those 2 stitching lines. Okay. So this is my sky, and this is an extra bonus triangle. Okay, so let me press this real quick. The reason why I like this method is the calculations are easy. So I want to do some scrap busting, which is what I'm doing. So what I did was I just trimmed some rectangles 3.5 inches by 6.5 inches so that they finish at 3 inches by 6 inches. So I know the outside square that's making my sky is going to be a square that measures the short edge, which is 3.5 inches. It's a very simple measurement to calculate. There are other methods to do flying geese, and I've done them, but for scrap busting, this is probably the easiest way to do it because you're pulling from your scraps. So this is the easiest way to pull from your scraps, because as long as you have your rectangle for your geese, that side measurement is your square measurement for your sky. So now I'm going to sew from here to here. And now I'm just going to measure a 1/2 inch. Just do a little line. I'm going to sew right on that line for that bonus triangle, okay? Okay, and now I'm just going to trim right down the middle. All right, this is my bonus half square triangle. And now I'm going to iron this. Okay, so this is my Scrappy flying geese with 2 bonus triangles. So that's basically this video. It's all about, you know, I'm still scrap busting. Here's a green plaid, a green check, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a square here. So from here to here, trim it, and then I'm going to do a square on the opposite side. And I'm always sewing from the inside to the outside, because if you sew from the outside corner in, that outside point can get stuck in your feed dogs. Whereas if you start from the inside, there's a little more fabric there for your feed dogs to catch. And you'll notice on these 2 that right here, there's a 1/4 inch. And that's what you need for the overlap, so that when I attach them, I'm not cutting off those points, okay? Simple, simple. Simple, simple. I'm gonna do one more for you. Okay. So I'm cutting that right down the middle between those 2 seams. I'm setting aside my bonus half square triangle, and now I'm gonna press. I'm gonna press it flat to set the seam, and then I'm gonna press it open. And remember, there's going to be, you know, a little bit of distance here, because we need that for the 1/4 inch seam allowance when we go to attach them, and that way we don't cut off our tip. Okay? So here it is on my wall. So I just wanted to show you another idea for using up scraps, and that is the flying geese unit. And there's a couple different ways you can do a flying geese unit. I find that when you're trying to use up scraps, this is the easiest way to calculate your measurement. It truly is. And basically, you want to take a scrap, like I said earlier, of your rectangle, and you want to add your 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I wanted my rectangle to finish at 3 inches by 6 inches. So my base rectangle is cut at 3.5 inches by 6.5 inches. The square that creates the sky is based on this side measurement, 3.5 inches, and it's just 2 squares. So again, the calculation is very easy. So if you have scraps that are 2.5 inches by 4 inches rectangle, then you know that this side square has to be 2.5 inches, because that's the side, the short side of your rectangle. So it's just a great way to use up scraps. It's another option. So like I said, I just wanted to put this out there in the middle of the week, just to give you some other alternatives for using up scraps. I'm going to continue doing the rail fence blocks in light and dark. I'm going to continue doing large scrappy blocks like this that are all 2.5 inch, or rather all 2-inch finished squares. And then I'm also doing some strips up here. So this is just part of the process of me doing my scrap busting. Just wanted to share that with you here in the middle of the week. My name is Angela Davis, and I'm the 4M Quilter. Hope you enjoyed this little impromptu video. Have a great week. And remember, like and subscribe. Take care. Here's a little hug from me.